Welcome to 404 Politics, where the system is offline, the updates keep spinning, and everyone keeps saying, just give it time. This is not a left podcast. This is not a right podcast. This is a systems check podcast. Today we're talking about Donald J. Trump's first year back in office. Not the rallies, not the personality, just the first year of governing. What worked, what didn't, and why people walked away feeling very different about the same year. Trump came back fast. Policies moved quickly, messaging was strong, the pace was noticeable. The disagreement wasn't about whether things were happening. Everyone saw that. The disagreement was about whether those things made life easier. Early on, the administration focused on setting the tone. One example was the idea of renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. It made headlines. Supporters liked the message. Critics rolled their eyes. Daily life stayed the same. There were also a lot of executive actions. Things changed quickly, which some people liked. Others worried because executive actions can be undone just as quickly. Cultural issues came back front and center. Schools, media, corporations. These debates got a lot of attention, but they didn't lower rent or grocery bills. Most people on the left saw this as more messaging than results. Most people on the right saw it as leadership finally moving again. This is where we slow down because there were real positives in the first year. One of the most important was renewed support for Lumbee tribe federal recognition. This is something that had been delayed for decades. It helped move a long-standing issue forward for indigenous communities in North Carolina. Veterans also received one-time payments, reported around $1,600 for eligible veterans. With prices still high, this wasn't symbolic. It was direct help people could actually use. The administration also focused on bringing manufacturing and supply chains back home. This came after years of shortages. Some projects moved faster than others, but the focus itself mattered. Another positive was honestly around the economy. Instead of saying everything felt great, the administration openly acknowledged that people were still struggling with cost. That doesn't fix the problem, but it matters when trust is already low. Most people on the left felt these wins were too limited. Most people on the right felt this showed government can help without overdoing it. Different expectations, same actions. Affordability did not move in one clear direction. In some areas, staple items like gas or basic groceries came down or stabilized. That helped a lot of families. But at the same time, housing, insurance, utilities, and childcare kept going up. For many people, the savings in one place were eaten up somewhere else. National numbers may have looked better, personal budgets didn't. People on the left pointed to housing and healthcare as major failures. People on the right pointed to inflation slowing and said recovery takes time. Both sides were reacting to real life. Immigration enforcement became aggressive, especially through ICE. Supporters said this brought back order and enforcement. Critics said it caused fear and disruption without fixing the system. Here's where most people actually land. Most Americans want border enforcement. Most Americans also know the immigration system is outdated. People on the left focused on how aggressive enforcement affects families and workers. People on the right focused on deterrence and control. What frustrated many people in the middle was this: enforcement increased, but the system itself stayed broken. Public once again focused on Epstein-related files and transparency. While the courts control much of this process, people expected clear answers. They didn't get many. People on the left suspected powerful people being protected. People on the right felt the issue was politicized, but they still wanted answers. Different theories, same frustration. When transparency feels delayed, trust drops fast. Foreign policy raised hard questions. In Russia and Ukraine, the administration pushed for less U.S. spending and more pressure to negotiate. Supporters saw caution. Critics worried about influence and long-term stability. In Israel and Gaza, strong support for Israel continued alongside calls for restraint during humanitarian crisis. And yes, the U.S. also bombed Iran, which reminded people that even limited actions are still military force. This is where American first language got complicated. People on the left worried about humanitarian impact and escalation. People on the right asked why problems at home still felt unresolved while money and attention went overseas. AI use expanded quickly. Policy focused a lot on beating China and staying competitive. At the same time, companies used AI to cut costs and reduce jobs. Job growth slowed in some areas while automation sped up. People on the left worried about workers being left behind. People on the right worried about slowing innovation. Either way, change came faster than preparation. Trump's first year back was not a disaster, but it also was not a fix. Some people saw real benefits, others felt just as stretched as before. The biggest problem wasn't one policy or one president. It was a system that still struggles to turn action into everyday stability. This has been 404 Politics, where the system is offline, the updates are partial, and understanding both sides matter more than choosing one.